one-on-one coaching from me.
Well, thank you so very much for that input, Robert. I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate this private coaching call, and what you've done here is dropped so much information.
Was that helpful, guys?
Very. Great information, as always.
We're all about finding ground truth on everything. What does work, what doesn't work, and then disseminate that through our community so everyone can just make buckets and buckets of money. Welcome, Valerie. Let me pull you up as a panelist. Happy Tuesday, Valerie. How are you doing?
Hi, Robert. How are you? I'm great.
I'm doing excellent. Had a good week traveling last week. Liza's birthday, all that. And just getting caught up on work this week.
I couldn't make your office hours last Friday because I was en route to an appointment. So I'm trying to be present every time you have one. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. And also I wanted to know if there's going to be recordings of all of these. So in case we can't show up in person, we can go back and listen.
Absolutely. Actually, I have Meryl on my team. I've been trying to do the exports and uploads and everything, but I've been so slammed. But actually Meryl, who's on the call right now from my team, we actually just did a training yesterday on how to like download these and cut them and put on notes and get them up onto YouTube. So what we're going to actually be doing, last week's, I think she's just finished up this morning. We're going to be putting them all on YouTube. It'll probably take a few days before each one gets up because they're also managing a bunch of other stuff as well. But what we'll do is a few days after we do each of these, we'll try to get them all on YouTube so you can watch them. And I'm also going to see if we can cut them into some snippets too. So if you just want to get like the highlights from a specific week or whatever, we'll have them on the knowledge base there. So
that's great. That will be so helpful for us in the community. Also, I know that I've seen people kind of go back to the recordings and put like at a certain time point, they'll timestamp it and they'll put in a topic that you addressed at that time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, we're doing that exactly.
That's great. That's so helpful because it will allow us to be really efficient with our time as we go back to listen. So. Yeah,
I know. I listen to everything on 2X, so.
I do too. You're great on 2X, but some people, the fast talkers, whoa, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
But when I discovered that little gear and that concept, it was one of those mind-blowing things.
Yeah. No, you can listen to 2X all the time. I won't be offended. Awesome. Well, super happy to have you on here, Valerie.
Am I the only person here?
No. We got a bunch on here. We have two Juans.
All right. Well, I'm going to say thanks again, Robert, for all you do for the community. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate having you on. Looks like we have Juan Padilla. Did I say that right?
It's Padilla, like tortilla.
Padilla.
Like tortilla, but it's Padilla.
Padilla. Awesome. Juan, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Excellent. Juan Padilla, what you want to share with everyone where you're calling in from?
Sure, I'm calling in from Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Awesome. So guys, we got deals in Austin. You know who to call. Valerie, by the way, is from the Chicago market. And then we got another Juan on here, Juan Antonio.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome, Juan. Do you want to share where you're calling in from?
Yes, Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Awesome. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing some like lending stuff, right? Is that the right?
Yes. Yep.
Well, by trade for the last 2 years, we've been running a brokerage for private money lending and gap funding, which helps a lot of investors when they're a little bit short, either to put their down payments or closing costs or to start their rehabs. We kind of commingle both loans, to help them get them going and start
their project.
I love it. Awesome. Awesome. So there you go. If you guys need buyers, if you have buyers that need a little bit of gap funding or something like that, Juan Antonio is your guy. Looks
Thank
like
you.
awesome. Welcome on. So we always have Chepito. Chepito, welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
Did I
Hey,
get
how
your
you doing, Robert?
pronunciation right? I know I've asked
Yeah, you pronouncing it correct, man. You'll be surprised what 95% of people pronounce it as. You ready for it?
What?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I promise you. You understand? I promise you. But yeah, man, glad to be here, man. Had a little bit of withdrawal because I didn't see you last week, man. I got a little nervous.
Yeah. No, we were gonna do it on Tuesday, and then I was actually going up to Atlantic City with a few guys from the InvestorLift community. We're supposed to do a 7 p.m. flight. I'm doing my flight training. So we're actually renting an airplane. And I got a call that morning that were like, oh, we can't do 7 p.m., but we can do 1 p.m. I'm like, oh, shoot. 3 before office hours. And so I landed in Atlantic City at like 12:45, but like, I'm like, that's not going to work out. So we pushed that one to Friday. You should have did you get a text and an email from my team letting you know about the rescheduling?
I did not.
Okay, we'll try to do a better job with that. If we ever do need to reschedule, the things we try to do is text and email everyone, letting them know that, hey, we had to reschedule this. It shouldn't happen really that often, but I apologize. Last week it did happen. So we did it Friday. Friday was really awesome. We had a lot of companies on Friday. Really awesome call recording. We had like 3 cartel bosses on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really good. Lots of big game. David Olds dropped some serious game on like EMD payments and stuff like that. We talked about like marketing attribution and a few things like that. Meryl is working on getting the recording up onto YouTube. So probably the next day or so, you'll probably see it on YouTube, and definitely check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my man.
Yeah, we're going to do notes and stuff on like timestamps, like here, whatever. So
nice.
Welcome, Chepito. You want to share with everyone where you're calling in from?
I'm calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. Primarily do deals in Atlanta, Charlotte, Memphis as well. So if anybody can offer some value, we can exchange some value. Let's get some money.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Well, welcome, Chepito. I'm super happy to have you on. Now, I've actually been waiting for a call like this where we don't have a ton of companies on. Okay. I think today would be actually the perfect opportunity to do this. And because, you know, when I have 10 companies on, whatever, we can't really do this. But what I was thinking would be cool today, if you guys are down for it, actually, I got to do a hard stop in about 50 minutes, because actually my 7th anniversary today. I got to go get everything together for that. Yeah,
that's really years. Exciting.
Almost at a decade. It's crazy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, so you know how it is. I got to make sure I pick up some stuff on the way out. But so what I was thinking is, what we could do is we go around. If you guys are game for this, if you're not, then it's fine. But we'll just do like 10 minutes each, where we just like dive into your business. What are your challenges? And I'll just basically try to give you like 10 minutes of like one-on-one coaching from me, specifically on whatever your business challenges are, whatever. Just try to steer you in the right direction on how to get to the next level. And then we'll just go around, and then also other people in the group too. If you have certain ideas or thoughts about things that could help whoever it is, you could chime in and provide those thoughts and insights as well. What do you guys think? You guys want to try that? I mean, people offer me like $10,000 an hour to give them one-on-one coaching. So
I think it's a great idea.
You guys want to try that? Okay.
Awesome.
Raise your hand if you're good, because I'll figure out how many people want to do it. Okay, so Valerie, you're in. Juan Padilla, you're in. Juan Antonio, you're in. Chepito, you're in. Okay, cool. So we'll budget around like 10 minutes or so for each person, and then we'll kind of go from there. Who wants to go first?
Don't you think it should be ladies first?
I think I was just about to say, if not ladies first, if you're brave enough. All right, so let's talk about your business, Valerie. Why don't you give us a background on the last 12 months or so? How did you end up on this call? I think you had a background in, were you a realtor before and then you got into investing, or give us a little bit of background on kind of how you got into investing, where you're at right now.
Happy to do that. And if I get off track, you just rein me in, okay?
Sounds good.
I do not have a background as a realtor. actually come from the hospitality industry, and I also come from the trading industry.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work on the, I'm from Chicago, so I used to work on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. And then that was an interesting experience. And then after that, on an institutional stock equity trading desk for ABN AMRO and Merrill Lynch. And I did that for many years, and then that business changed. And when I left equity and stock investing, I wanted to stay in the investing community, so I switched over to real estate investing. But I was still steeped at that time in a corporate hospitality service type job. So I was really not active as a real estate investor. I was serving the community as a private money lender. So I was lending to local investors in my market. And I did that from 2015 to the present. That's what I was doing, which was lending. So I could clearly see the opportunities in the market. So
Were you doing like hard money loans, or what type of lending were you doing?
Private money lending.
Yeah. Okay.
I was lending to investors with the typical 12-2.
Yeah.
And I was trying to keep it short on my timelines. But at the time I was lending, people were doing much bigger projects then, and they had long lending cycles. And some of my lending situations didn't come through as well as I would have liked. And I learned some lessons, but that's okay. It's all part of the process.
Yeah.
So I'm still lending. However, I realized the potential in the active market. So that's when, and I do have a good knowledge of the wholesaling and rehabbing processes. So I've decided and did decide that wholesaling was going to become my income generator. And I am bringing that on 100% as my income generator. And there's been changes that have come about in my other employment due to the pandemic. So this is now my primary focus, and I'm all in with wholesaling. And I'm starting initially in my Chicago market, but will eventually, I know I will eventually expand to larger markets. My market has some challenges to begin with.
Yeah.
And I'm just really probably not at the same level as a lot of the people that are in this community. Like I'm not a cartel boss. I'm a solopreneur at this point, and I am in the process of getting the systems and the foundation laid so that when I do really come down and put it down, it's going to be a machine. It's not going to be me ripping my hair out.
Yeah, you're thinking about things right way. And when did you make that decision to start going 100% to wholesaling and flipping?
Let's say towards the end of 2019.
Okay. So you've been at it year and a half or so.
Well, let's just say that I haven't been engaging in deals. I've just been connecting and
trying to work smart. Like you're trying to figure out how to get the systems and stuff in place first, and then dive in.
And I came in through an email that was sent to me by Dan Swartz, and that's his whole focus. So that was my introduction to you and what you had to offer, and I could clearly see that it was a no-brainer to be involved with his group and also your group, especially on the dispo. I've gone to several meetups now since I've been part of this community, and one person in particular is using your platform on the dispo end, and he's farther along in the process than I am, but just watching others hook up here and use your system tells me that it was a good move.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, that's great. Great background. Now, do you mind me asking where you're at deal wise? Have you done a few deals yet, or are you still looking for your first deal?
Robert, I'm in the middle of my first deal.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Always remember your first deal.
This has to do with one of those crazy serendipitous things where someone contacted me as a result of my membership or involvement in another investing community.
Yeah.
back in January. And this is a unique opportunity. They contacted me because I was in that community and they liked the way I filled out my profile and my website looked professional, all those things. So I tried to help them at that time, but didn't get any traction. And I really just let it go because the person that has the property is living in Alaska and he owns a lodge north of the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
And his property is in a town about 2 hours, well, about an hour and a half from downtown Chicago. So it's actually in a small town outside of Chicago. And he wants to sell the property because he's getting eaten alive right now. So that's what I was trying to help him with back in February. And he was supposed to be helping me by getting together some photos and other things. And then he got very busy with his own issues up there in Alaska. And he just fell off and I let it go. And I was pursuing other things. Well, in the last week, he and his sister, who are involved in this process, contacted me, and they now are much more serious about selling. Since he talked to me in those 7 months, he's lost $10,500 because he doesn't have a renter in the property, and I think he's really starting to feel the pinch. So I'm probably going to be setting up I was going to do it with virtual pictures, but I've decided that I'm going to go to the site on the first one, take my pictures, do it all, and see if it's worth, if I can figure out to get it under contract with the amount of rehab that will be needed. And I've got some contacts. Well, I've got a lot of contacts in the local market. See if I can hook into a solid buyer or a couple of solid buyers if the numbers work, and flip that baby.
Yeah, or wholesale it. I think you should wholesale it. Take that.
Well, I meant, I should have said wholesale it to the retail guys. I just need to find out whether this market is going to support what we would want to do. So
have you checked God mode yet to see what's in God mode?
Haven't. Here's another thing.
Actually, I won't say what that is. You don't have an.
I'm a little negligent in getting the whole system hooked up. So I will move forward on that as well.
Yeah. So here's some tips. So what you got to be thinking about is with your first deal, you want to get that first money in so you can plug it back into marketing and go take your marketing to the next level. So you can turn that first deal into 5 and then turn those 5 into 25 and so forth. So on this first deal, I think one of the mistakes you got to be making, maybe you did this, maybe you didn't, is you got to be following up consistently. So if he called you back in January, maybe time wasn't right, but you should probably still be calling him back like every 30 days or so. Just be like, hey, I just want to check, see how things are going. Are you still interested in that property? Anytime you get a lead, put it in your follow-up systems until that person like sells, dies, or tells you to F off. Okay. So that's the one thing I would do, like moving forwards on your leads when they come in. But the good news is you have like an out-of-state owner who has a property and he lives thousands of miles away. Like, this is beautiful. Beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Now
he's got a 90K mortgage on it, and he told me that he wanted to at least get that. So even if he doesn't use me to wholesale the property, I can, if the numbers don't work, I can probably refer him to a realtor and he can sell it as is and he can break even. So
I want to
help the guy. I want to help the guy.
And that, if you want to help, that's one of the things people will realize that, and you'll start getting more deals because they'll understand that just in your tonality and stuff when you're on the phone. Now, how long has he owned the property for?
He bought the property in 2005 for 140, and was it 2005? He lived in it for 7 years, and he was dinking around, rehabbing it as he lived in it. So he was in it till maybe 2012. And that's when this opportunity in Alaska came about. So he said, okay, I'm moving to Alaska. I'm going to try this. He and his wife moved to Alaska, bought the Airbnb, basically lodge, and this is what I don't understand. He must have a super aversion to realtors and renters, because this entire time he could have been renting that out, but he didn't rent it. It's been sitting vacant. His wife's parents and neighbors have been keeping their eye on the property. And then occasionally, probably every year or so, they come back to the property. But he's not utilizing the property to its fullest.
Wants out. He wants out. He just needs to find the right solution. You just need to solve his problem for him. The fact that he's calling you back, that's huge. So normally it's the other way around, but okay. Here's what we want to do on this deal. You just got to monetize this deal fast and go take the money and throw it back into marketing to go get your next 5. Okay. Now, the first thing you got to do is if you're green and you haven't done a lot of deals, first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a few other opinions to figure out what the value is of this property. I would call some realtors, brokers in there, or people on InvestorLift, talk to other InvestorLift companies and be like, hey, do you mind just give me a second opinion on the price on this? Make sure that your numbers make sense. If your numbers make sense where you can give him a payoff on his mortgage for 90K and just be like, hey, I can just get you out of this. And then, go for that cash offer, get it under contract. And then, if you've done the homework up front to make sure that your pricing is good, then push it out and go wholesale that deal. Now, if the payoff is not there, you still want to monetize it. Okay. So then what I would do is I would talk to another InvestorLift company and look at that specializes in some other exit strategies that could potentially get him more. Like, let's say you run the numbers and based on the value, the ARV, like the highest you could offer is like 80,000. Okay. And like he wants 90. Okay. Then what I would do is I would talk to someone that maybe specializes in subject to deals. Okay. So Reese Pennington and Andrew, I can't remember Andrew's last name, but Reese Pennington, based on Pennsylvania. This guy's a whiz with subject to deals. I was just up in Atlantic City with him, and the guy just like, he's like doing the math in his head, and like he's done so many of these things, and he's a closer, right? So you might want to just come to him and be like, yo, I'll throw you 30% on this deal, just get under contract for me and let him go sell it and negotiate it. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to lose this because you're still green on negotiation. I remember like I blew up a 100K deal when I first started negotiating on my own, just because like I didn't know how to close properly yet. And you'll learn that as you go, but you might want to you got one opportunity in the pipeline right now. You don't have any others right now, right? It's just this one.
Just this one.
Okay. So you want to make sure you get some money out of this. So what I would do is maybe like figure it out, see if you can get under contract yourself like that. But if not, then maybe bring in someone that specializes in subject to and see if you could do subject to on it. Or you could talk to someone like Corey Geary that specializes in novation and potentially do a novation. Novation might work in a more rural area, depending on
novation, Novation.
Novation. We actually talked about it on the last week's office hours. So Corey was on and he actually explained the whole thing. So we'll try to get that up today or tomorrow and just watch that segment on novation. Basically, it's a replacement of contract. It's kind of like a wholesale, but you're basically listing on the MLS and bringing in like a FHA regular buyer, and their contract replaces your contract. Okay. So you can get those MLS prices without, just got to make sure the property's in decent condition. You get an appraisal done. It's not.
I don't think it's retail ready.
But that's sometimes like all you have to do is like throw in a stove or whatever. It just needs to be livable,
Okay. Well, that's why I want to go see the property.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's the first thing you got to do.
Yeah, I was gonna have somebody take photos for me, but no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I'll make some calls today, try to get some opinions on the value, and then get in the car, get out to that property. On these first few deals, especially if you're just doing it yourself, you got to just grind and hustle to go get those deals. So get in the car, drive down there. I would get like 150 photos if you can. Take video walkthroughs of everything. Matterport, you could hire someone to come and meet you there and do a full Matterport rendering. Or what you could also do is Matterport on their app. You can just hold your phone and like turn in circles. You got to hold really still, but you can actually create your own Matterports from your phone, which is really cool. So I would just try to package it up as much as I can. And then see what your options are. Option one, you try to close it yourself. Option number two, try to get someone to help you on a novation. Or option number three, get someone to try to move it subject to. And the other thing too is like, do you have like when you're trying to close it, one thing that jacks up a lot of people, they have these really long, complicated contracts. Try to have like a one-page contract. That's one way where you can just get way more of these deals done. You just got to come and be like, hey, you have a problem. Here's what it is. let me solve it for you. Okay. And just really listen to them. Now I'm going to assume that, so if you move fast on this, you should be able to go get this deal together in the next like week or so. Okay. And you know, at that kind of price point, your assignment fee isn't going to be huge, or your novation or whatever is going to be huge. But like, let's say you make like 10K on it. Okay. Where would you put that 10K? And like, well, first of all, would you need to pull some of that 10K out, or would you be rolling that all back into marketing?
I would probably invest most of it, let's say at least 50% to 75%. I would want to have it tagged for moving this business forward.
Yeah. What I would do is I'd put it all as much as you can into marketing. Don't worry about, you don't even need to worry about like setting CRMs and stuff up at this point. You just need lead flow. A lot of people, what they do is they try to build the whole system up front. You know, they try to set up their full CRM and Salesforce and dialer and all this stuff. Like at your stage when you're just trying to get your first few deals, all you need is an Excel spreadsheet. You know, if you have extra time, then yeah, go get the seller stuff set up. But where I think it's too small of a budget to really start playing around with Google Ads unless you're super tech savvy. If you're super tech savy, have at it. Start diving into Google Ads.
Next on that, I am not tech savvy.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, you could start up a campaign with just with a couple of hot keywords and put like a small budget on it, like $25 a day or $50 a day if you want, just in case you like hit one. You know, you could do that strategy, just start warming up the account. But most of it at that stage, if I'm dealing with like 10K, what you're going to want to do is probably buy some lists and start texting. Okay. Calling is going to take a lot longer. I would start texting. Okay. Now, I always push people to PPC because PPC is the best channel, but PPC, you need to be at a certain level. Okay. So I wouldn't want you to come in on Google Ads, blow through your 10K, trying to learn Google Ads, and then run out your budget. So I would probably just go, you know, get some good lists. Make sure you have good skip tracing. That's the most important thing. I'd probably use IDI. Find someone that has IDI and get them to run your list for you. And then just text that list, like text it. There's a good video that actually I did with my wife on Dealmaker Nation. Okay.
Where is it?
One second, I'm gonna find it. Dealmaker Nation.
Dealmaker Nation.
Yeah. My wife is a texting queen.
Oh, that's good.
We don't do it anymore, but back when we did do texting, man, she would pull leads out of everything. Okay, let me share this URL. Watch this video. I'm going to drop it under chat here. Okay.
Thank you.
The title is Communication 101: How to Turn Lost Deals into Dollars Live with Eliza. Okay, she talks a lot about like some of the texting strategies she uses to like really dominate everyone on texting. So check that out. Yeah, get your texting rolling, and then you got to go like big, like hit as many people as you can. I'd be trying to hit, you know, 5,000 a week if I can, and try to go turn that 10K into 100K. Okay.
I love the way you think. It's just I'm a little overwhelmed with all this, but I'm not going to let myself go down that path. I really feel like there's a lot of support here, and this is just a good example.
Yeah, I think I had Nick Perry on the show a while ago, and everyone sees him now doing millions a year in assignment fees. I think he said he went on like 170 appointments or something before he got his first deal. Right? You don't
have to.
You don't fail until you quit. Everyone that like is doing really well in this business, like I've blown so many hundreds of thousands on deals that I should have closed that didn't. Like, so don't stress about it.
Okay.
Just, it's like Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So it looks like you got like the goal is open.
Yeah.
Always been pulled, and you're skating across the rink. You just got to go take that shot now. I'm
such a competitor too. I will take my mindset and tweak it around so that even I will force myself to take that shot.
Yeah.
I will.
You might be at the center line, and you know, I'm being stereotypical Canadian here, like
okay.
Hockey analogies. I was born in Canada. I'm American too, but you might be at the center line, and you could take that shot from the center line, but you might have a couple teammates that are further ahead that are right beside the net. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe talk to Corey Garrett, maybe talk to Reese Pennington.
Got it.
You can do a subject too. or Novation if the numbers don't make sense. If the numbers don't make sense, then you might want to go in those directions. And I probably, if this is your first deal, I probably wouldn't try to sell those yourself. Even if I was like, if it was my first deal and I'm pretty good at sales, I would probably screw it up on my own. I'd rather just give someone, 30% or whatever and be like, just close this for me. It's teed up. Just be like, yo, out of state owner, here's the numbers, 30%, get on the phone, close it, tie this thing up for me. Okay.
Well, if I do that, and I'm all good with that. I don't mind giving up a little profit to somebody who really knows what they're doing. And I just don't want to not be able to learn what's happening here.
Yeah, you can just be like, yo, let me just hang out on the phone and just tell me how you did this afterwards.
These guys are going to be hip to that.
Oh yeah. I'll be on mute.
What?
Well, you can do is just do a three-way call and be like, hey, I want to because if you just have Reese randomly call this person, they're gonna be like, who the hell is Reese?
Right.
So you call them and be like, hey, I have my business partner, refer them as your business partner. I have my business partner on their line. He was thinking of a way that you could potentially get more money because probably you're going to come in, you make your offer, and let's say, best case scenario, you can offer him 120. If you can offer him 120, you should be able to just call him up and close it on your own. Okay, that's best case scenario. Depending on the value, though, if the value is not there, maybe you have to come in at 70, and you make the offer at 70 and kind of say, okay, here's where we're at. But my business partner, he specializes in certain creative deal structures that could potentially get you some more money. Would you be interested in hearing how we might be able to get you a little bit more? Of course, they're going to say yes. Okay, let me dial them in, pull them in. You hang back, let them do the close for you.
Got it. Perfect. Yeah, I started to run some of the numbers. The house is in a historic district that's very near, sitting up on a bluff. It's not on a bluff, but it's very near big historic houses where people put their money into 6,000 square foot houses back in the mid 1800s. So it's in this historic district, and I think it has an ARV around 220-ish, but I need to see the property before I can peg the ARV, and I need to wrap my head around what kind of rehab costs to bring it out retail.
Yeah, and if you try to do that all yourself up front, you're probably going to be off on your numbers. So get some second, third opinions. If you have to pay someone some money to do it,
got it.
I'll get some second and third opinions from other people in the area that know the market. And
I do have other people in this market who I know who could help me with the numbers. And if not, absolutely. I don't really want to tip my hand in that small community with a realtor, because then I think they're going to be all over it.
No,
I want to be careful with that. It's a very small town. It's one of these places where the neighbors see people at the property all of a sudden, and then you're going to lose the deal.
Yeah. I think the bottom line here, the bottom takeaway that you got to take away from this is when you're just working by yourself, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just me, I don't have a team. You can build yourself a team that doesn't need to be working for you. So, as you grow, you're going to have people working for you and you're paying them cash hourly, right? But when you're first getting started, you should still have a team. Just that team is going to be external to your company. Just like me, I have lawyers and accountants and everything external to my team that amplify me and this whole community, right? That's the way you want to be thinking about it, is it's not just me. I have a team, but here's the team I set up.
Yeah.
To get me to the level where I'm going to start hiring internally. Okay.
Well, I'm going to start looking at some of these people that you suggested here as my teammates. Sometimes I think in my own mind, and I don't always think this, that these big cartel bosses, that they might, I don't know if they have the time of the day for somebody like me, but
lead with value. Here's how hey, I have this deal. I think you can make X. It'll probably take 15 minutes of your time to jump on a phone call. I'm willing to cut you in for 30%. I'm just getting started. I don't know how to close these type of deals. I've heard you got closers on your team that can do this.
This is great.
You can even mention that Robert recommended talking to them.
Robert is my referral.
So you're an InvestorLift, just be like, yo, I'm an InvestorLift. Robert mentioned I should reach out to you about novations, or I should reach out to you about subject to, or whatever it is.
Okay.
They love it. I mean, they love getting deals. It's easy for them. They jump on the phone, 30 minutes, boom, they make 30%, win for them, easy money. They didn't have to source a deal. You brought it to them. You're leading with value. Great for you, because you might jack up that deal on your own if it's the first one. Okay. But yeah, do make sure it's learning, and then take that money, don't spend it, throw it back into marketing, take that 10, turn it to 100.
Okay, this was valuable, so valuable. And I'm looking for that link of the text that you talked
Yeah,
about your wife.
it should be on the oh, you know what? It's because I don't have it as a panelist. There we go. I just redropped it.
There it is. Perfect.
Yeah, watch that. Check it out.
Yeah, and I
I'll help
appreciate
you when
your
you start
time.
getting to texting.
What?
When you start getting to texting, that video is going to help you.
Okay.
It's just communication, how to be a good communicator. She's got a background in neuroscience and psychology, so she uses that. Like she'll talk to you about the psychology, communication, things like that. Why most people fail when they're texting and calling.
Well, I really appreciate this private coaching call, and what you've done here is dropped so much information. I'll have to go back and make sure to listen to this to make sure that I get all the details.
Yeah,
Great.
hopefully that helps. Go and keep us posted next week. I want to hear how things went.
Oh my goodness, you bet I will. Thank you.
No problem. All right.
And for the rest of the team, thanks for listening. They're probably going, oh my goodness, a newbie.
I see people taking notes too, so that's good. Everyone gets value. All right, who's brave enough to go next? Juan Antonio? All right, Juan Antonio.
All right, thank you, Robert. Well, my background has been life and health insurance since 2008. 2 years ago, when I started getting to know this about wholesaling and real estate investing and all that, I jumped in the fix and flip side. But since my background has always been, filling out contracts, so I developed a eagle eye about, how to handle a contract, how to execute and fill it out and everything. So then I saw the opportunity better on lending, which is contract, so I just went out and grasped it and understood it very well. And thank God I've been doing okay with it. And little by little, I started connecting with borrowers that also were needing properties, and they were asking me if I knew or could provide them a property here and there. So without really pursuing it, I started getting into the wholesaling. So many times I was doing the loan, the hard money loan, but also getting the property for them. So I'm still doing that and getting the best out of both worlds. But now when I met your system, Robert, which it's awesome. It could be a little bit complex at sometimes, but I just got to watch those videos and ask questions and make research and start moving forward. And I really wanted your opinion on this one. It's because I know that joint venturing with other, I guess, investors that have properties under contract is also another branch, I guess, of this business. And my question to you is this: how important is it also to have like a joint venture contract or agreement?
Yeah.
Also,
I saw that post that I was scrolling through my feed there, and I saw that post where you're talking to Joe Taylor about this. That's the one you're talking about. Like, can I go push out someone else's deal if I don't have our contract? So here's my take on it. So the way that David Olds and guys like this will do it is we have a data set of unvetted buyers that if you need some buyers, you need to build up your buyers list. We can give you just message our team. You can actually just drop on chat right now if you want, like, hey, I want this county, that county. We'll give you a few counties of unvetted buyers, but a lot of them have phone numbers, right? You can start calling those buyers, being like, hey, I saw, I've heard you might be interested in doing deals in this area. I'm looking for real estate investors that, are shopping for deals. Something along those lines. Give them a little spiel and be like, are you looking for deals? And try to find people that are looking for deals and what their criteria is. Okay, I want properties in Atlanta priced between 150 and 400. Okay, now I got your buy box. Well, guess what? Most buyers probably don't even, if they're not vetted, they probably don't know that there's this website called InvestorLift that has almost 1,000 properties on it. So then what you do is you say, okay, give me a couple hours. Let me see if I can find anything for you. You can go on InvestorLift, go find, property that meets that buy box, call up that person and be like, hey, I got a buyer I just spoke to. They're looking for a property that meets your buy box exactly. I'm also on InvestorLift, by the way. Do you want to JV this thing with me? Okay. then get a JV agreement without, be like, just give me like 5-day JV agreement or whatever. Like, let me try to push this buyer in. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'll release it back to you. But because I think in a lot of states, you're not actually able to market a property unless you have equitable interest. So I think that's why the key, why that JV agreement is really important. But if you call them up, be like, hey, I got a buyer for you. I'm on InvestorLift. I was just on the phone with him 5 minutes ago. Meets your buy box exactly. Even if you can get, even if you want to really juice up, try to get proof of funds from them. I don't know if you could get that without sending them a deal first, but you can always push for it. And then just try to match them up, right? Like it's a simple game.
Right.
Calling buyers and pulling stuff off the InvestorLift. It's good for the InvestorLift companies too, because if it's posted there, they haven't probably found a buyer yet, and you're just bringing the buyers. Now they might, you might call them up and they're like, hey, no, I have 5 other offers on this. I'm not interested in JVing, or hey, I just don't do that. That's fine. Okay.
Correct.
Go through the list until you find someone that does match. That's the way I would do it.
Okay. Yeah, because right now I actually have two individuals that are not members of the InvestorLift, but they want to give me, the access to move their properties with the cash buyers that we have access to here in the portal. So is that legit? Is that okay for me to?
Yeah, if you're fine with it, I would try to go get an agreement signed with them first that, hey, I have this time period to go JV it. But as long as they're fine with it and you're fine with it, then you're good. What is not cool at all is I go on another site and I see someone's deal, like let's say on Facebook, I go download all the photos off of Facebook, and then I upload them into InvestorLift and I go blast out someone else's deal without even telling them about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that will get you kicked off in 2 seconds. We've had I think we've only had to kick off one person for doing that, but that will get you kicked off for sure. Because then that person's gonna be calling me up, be like, yo, bro, why is this guy on InvestorLift blasting up my deal for $20,000 more than I have it under contract for? I have it under contract with the F.
Well, Robert, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you agree on what I'm doing, but I told the person that wants to sell this, help me sell the property, is that I'm not adding any fees on top at all, but I'm telling him that of his assignment fee, if we could go like a 30-70 split, where he keeps 70 and I'll keep 30. So that way we don't have to bump up the price to the end buyer. And he came back and said, man, if you can really help me move this, we'll go 50-50. I was thinking 70-30, but that came out of his heart. So I said, yeah.
If he's seen that though, it might be a junk deal. It could be a junk. If someone's going like upping their stake, then that could be that they're overpriced on it. Okay, so just be wary of that. When someone offers something that's too good to be true, then usually it's too good to be true. They might have been selling a deal for a while and they can't move it, and it's a shit deal. And that's probably most likely what's going on here. But you never know. It could just be that they don't know how to dispo deals, and then you come in with InvestorLift. They have no clue what InvestorLift is. You come in with all this tech and this data, you start pounding God mode, and boom, you start moving. Now, if you don't have a big buyers list, because I think you're just getting started on this as well, let our team know which counties you want. We can throw you a couple counties around those properties, okay, of unvetted buyers for you to start vetting. And then in God mode, go wide, right? LLC skip tracing sucks. Ours just sucks less than everyone else's. So you're going to want to go get like 500-600 buyers skip traced. Get a texting platform like Lead Sherpa, load that in there, text all 500. It'll take you like a few minutes. Each time you click the button, it sends out a text. Out of 500-600, you'll probably get like 30 to 50 responses, depending on the deal. But the system, you can set up the system to filter out all the bad responses, like, hey, wrong number, F off, whatever. You can have the system automatically filter that out. So you just see that 30 to 50. And then just get the deal, post it, do a really good job with your deal posting, photos, videos, descriptions, comps, even if you need to spend an hour putting together a deal posting, do it. And then go run that skip trace, get the unvetted buyers, start calling the unvetted buyers around that area, push it to God mode really hardcore. And then what I'd also do is go find out if there's Facebook groups that are focused around that area, join those groups, and then share it to each of those groups.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. All right.
So those three things, if it's a deal, it should move.
Well, thank you so very much for that input, Robert. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Now, what you can do here too is while you're doing that, you can start building up your lending relationships.
And I meant to ask you on this list that you said that we can start working them. Are there mostly just LLCs companies, or they're like also just individuals?
Anything.
Mixed?
Yeah, mixed.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's a mix.
Mixed. Okay, perfect, perfect. All righty, well,
So
thank
what
you.
you could also do, yeah, no problem. What you can also do while you're doing this is as you're talking to them, find out if they need financing. So if you've got a background in finance, be like, hey, I can get you the deal and I can give you the money.
Perfect, yep.
There you go. All right,
Thank
love
you.
it. Hopefully that was helpful, Juan.
Yes, sir.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, Chepito.
Yeah, okay. So just a little background. Been in real estate for quite some years. Took a break in the beginning, just did some with family. We had some commercial and some residential, but you can know some of the challenges that come with like managing tenants and rentals. It kind of like took me out the game, and really didn't dibble and dabble in it for a while. But been an entrepreneur, for quite some time since then. Had ice cream shops. Me and my family built from the ground up. We used to manufacture ice cream.
Wow,
And just real estate. And then went on a little hiatus and took a break, but was able to get in a few mentorships in regards when it comes to, that's where I met my partner Bruno. I think he's on the call as well. He might want to chime in too, but financial literacy mastermind is which I met Bruno, but we started doing some fix and flips in Memphis, 19 going into 20, then COVID happened. But we definitely, I knew from watching like Pace and a couple guys from Subject 2. So I had my eye on that. And, me and Bruno, we went in heavy and, educated ourselves to the process of wholesaling. And, that's when I had the aha moment. It actually came from Max Maxwell. He gave me the epiphany because like, my friends used to talk to me. I said, please don't talk to me about no real estate. I said, I already had experience with that until Max Maxwell gave the light bulb. And it was like, hold on, people are flipping contracts. You don't have to manage a team. You don't have to do no repairs or chase tenants. And so, that really had me intrigued and, went in on the studying from last year, up until this year. Me and Bruno, we done quite a few deals with fix and flips, getting into the wholesale side. We built out a conveyor belt, as Subject 2, illustrates, and going from building out the acquisitions all the way to dispositions. But as with that came its challenges, and going direct to seller, they're being bombarded with the cold calling and following up, and but there just had to be a simpler way. And we've come across, a dispo plan in which, we was in a mentorship with that as well, and learned some things about dispositions, about outreach and certain strategies and tactics. And then, going full in on the dispo side, we are in one of the masterminds. Matter of fact, we were there with Reese and Andrew Harry.
Nice,
You understand? And
good guys.
They changed our life, me and my partner. You understand? Yeah. And oh yeah, just like I never met guys that gives unselfishly. You understand? Always there for you. You understand? And when they've been a godsend to us. And and me and my partner Bruno, he's familiar with Nick Perry. He knows him. Done a couple of things with him as well on the side. But here we are in InvestorLift, and and we're trying to simplify the process. We've started some PPC. We getting some nice traction.
We
much
just started,
with that.
but it's nice.
Yeah.
You just
with the PPC. Yeah, we just started with the PPC.
Yeah.
Building out our sales, like our closers. As of right now, we have a team like a few foreclosers, and and just looking for the best practices and just dispoing in InvestorLift. So he runs the technical side of that. So he's familiar with God mode and searching, understand with the filters and everything. So, we work out with that, but also we've been pretty successful with real estate agent outreach as well, of them sending us, off market deals. This is a relationship game.
Yeah.
So, you definitely have to build relationships and maintain and cultivate them over the time, because this is a long game. But, so we built a conveyor belt, the simple side on the back end now, with just like Corey Gary said, PPC, close them to right to InvestorLift. You understand?
Yeah.
And, we don't want to recreate the wheel. We just want to know the best practices and what we can get, collapsing time frames and, and scale this as quickly as possible.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. And what kind of volume are you guys at right now? Like, what did you do? Do you have can you share a sense of what you've done deal wise and like so far this year?
So this year, like on the wholesaling side, we've done like at least like.
Was that
22 deals so far.
22 deals? Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And what percentage of those were deals that you generated versus ones you JV'd?
Your phone is breaking up.
A lot of our leads, our first leads came from JV deals to realtors.
Yeah.
And we just locked up our first 2 deals to PPC, but most of our bulk has been from outreach people.
Nice. Nice. So the one thing about Atlanta, and this is just, I'm just hypothetically suspecting that this is the case, is because you got like these like legends in the business like Max Maxwell teaching everyone acquisitions, it's probably pretty competitive on acquisitions, right?
Yes.
Like if you texted or called someone, there's probably been 5 or 10 other people that have texted or called them, right?
They could probably finish the comment with, oh, you want to know motivation? You want to know. Let's get to the point. You understand? What's the price?
Yeah.
They have been like that. They're bold like that now.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Because that market's just been hammered.
Oh, yeah.
I think that here's where I see you guys could play strategically. All of those guys have been trained really well in acquisitions and how to do market and pulling lists and text and call and email. How many of them know how to dispo?
Not many.
Not many,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they know of the word.
Yeah.
You knew it exists.
That's one thing we're noticing. People, they're terrible at comping, I'm guessing, or locking up deals, or I don't know what the hell's with that.
I think here's a strategy that you guys do. You try to brand yourself in Atlanta is like the pro dispo company. You want to move a deal, we'll sell it for you.
Nice.
Try to corner the dispo market in Atlanta. Okay. Maybe you don't. And then you do want to get into acquisitions. I think it's smart to get into acquisitions, right? Because you want to keep some of your own deal flow going. But I think when you run those campaigns, I don't think you run them in Atlanta. I think you run them other areas.
Yeah.
Don't go rural, but pick a couple big cities. Maybe just focus on a couple other big cities, like you can pick like Charlotte or whatever, like nearby, where like you have some close proximity, but spend your money there on acquisitions where maybe it's not as saturated on the acquisition side of things. It's gonna be easier for you to get that lead gen going. And then in Atlanta, all these guys are like just freaking pounding the entire city with texts, emails, calls, RVMs every day.
Sure.
They make $0 if they can't sell that deal.
True.
And you just let them know, hey, man, I see you're doing some deals. What percentage of your deals is falling out? 50%? Okay, what would it be worth if you could go from 50% up to 90% closing? How much more money would you make in the next year? Oh, I'd make this much. You do the math, you show them, okay, here's what it's worth for you in a year. Well, imagine if I boost you 40%, but you throw me 30%. You're making more money, it's less hassle, less stress. And then so Atlanta, you're like the dispo king. There's only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 companies on InvestorLift in Atlanta. It's not a lot. It's a huge city, massive market. One of the biggest in the entire United States for wholesaling. Probably like top 3, I think. Lower assignment fees, but tons of volume. And then, you just like market yourself as like the dispo company for that. And then meanwhile, get your Google ads rolling these other markets. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that strategy makes sense for you?
That strategy definitely makes sense. We were looking at, we were looking in Memphis. You know, that's where we've done primarily a lot of our fix and flips. We were getting a lot of feedback, and you know, maybe we should take another look at that. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I would look at the average sales price. Okay, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to be going into markets where the average sales price is too low, because your assignment fee is going to be about 8 to 12% of the average sale price. So what I would do is I would go under analytics here, and I can tell you real quick in about 2 seconds whether or not Memphis, Tennessee is going to be a good area. Is it a recording state, Tennessee? I can't remember.
It is.
Yes. Yes.
It's in there.
So we'll look at Tennessee.
So also, I was also thinking about another reason why I wanted to go back in that market, right? Because I be hearing Nick talk a lot about, you know, starting to buy and hold some things. So I'd put Section 8 on it or Airbnb it out. I mean, we kind of built up our war chest a little bit, and I was starting to think maybe it's time for me to. One of my other buddies was telling me, Andrew was telling us, if I go ahead and, because I already got a couple fix and flips on my belt, then I qualify for $2 million line of credit. So I guess I can start I'm thinking about starting to take down some deals. And I thought Memphis is cheap.
I wouldn't do it this fast. I think that's a play that you do later on down the road. Because right now, what you got to do is you got to get the marketing flywheel going, right? Like I think that's what you start thinking about once you're at 20 deals a month.
Okay.
You start taking 2, 3 down per month, and you use those to shelter your earnings on the other ones. So like Tark, what he does is he makes up to a couple $1 million a month in California. But would you want to take down properties in California for buy and holds? Hell no.
Not at all.
Like those tenant laws, good luck with the California government. So then he runs another campaign in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, what he does is he buys up just like hundreds of homes. Like he deals with single family. So on multifamily, you can't get fixed rate 30-year. You got to like every 5 years or so. Like there's no such thing as like 30-year fixed rate. On single family, there is. And money's cheaper than it's ever been pretty much in the history of the United States right now. So his partner is a mortgage broker. So what they do is anything that meets the 1% rent rule, right, where rent is 1% of the purchase price. So $100,000 home, rent for $100,000 a month, boom, locks those up, sight unseen, all day long. One property manager running the entire thing. You can't spread it across multiple cities if you want to do this efficiently. You got to pick one where you really like it. And then he's just, putting the money down from his assignment fees down on these properties, then loading up the rest with a bunch of cheap debt, right? Because his buddy's a mortgage broker, locking in the cheapest money in history for the next 30 years. And then his properties are also spinning out cash flow. But then he has all this depreciation every year, which he can use to offset his earnings from the wholesale business. Okay. If he just keeps on doing this for a few years, like he'll be a billionaire. Okay. It's very simple. Just shelter your income. But I don't think there's a huge opportunity cost when you start taking down deals too early, because let's say like a company that really, really does well on scaling up their marketing, really dials in and nails PPC, can get a 10x return for every dollar spent on marketing. So if you take, let's just keep it simple, $10,000 out of your business to go buy a deal, when in 60 days you could have been flipping that, making 10x, what did that cost you? What's the opportunity cost?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It cost $90,000.
Yeah.
Now, but then that's if you're cycling, you get the flywheel going, that $90,000 then turns in, if you keep the flywheel going, could turn into 900,000. So if you think about that, like if you take that money out early on, it could actually cost you millions, if assuming you got the flywheel going and really executed well. So you want to keep as much cash pumping back into marketing right away. Okay. Pay yourself as little as much, try to get your budget going, put everything back, get the flywheel going, figure out, you should every month be looking at what's my return on ad spend. And then you could mathematically calculate exactly what it would cost to go take something down. I guarantee you, if you look at it and you think about the opportunity costs and your cash conversion cycle, your return on ad spend, you could calculate what that would cost you in a year. And I'm telling you, if you're doing less than 20 deals a month, unless you have a ton of income that you need to shelter, it's probably not worth it to do it right away.
Gotcha. One question: How do you measure like the metrics I guess, of a successful campaign when you're going into a new market, like a PPC campaign?
Good question. So the only thing that matters, nothing matters other than return on ad spend. People get all hung up on cost per lead. Cost per lead doesn't freaking matter. Does not matter. Don't worry about your cost per lead. Return on ad spend is what you're going after. So that's for every dollar I spend, I plug in $1,000. How much money am I making back?
Okay.
That's the number one most important metric in this business. The number two metric that's really important is your cash conversion cycle. How many days does it take from when you spend that money to when you get it back out? If you worry about nothing else in your business, all you worry about is maximizing return on ad spend, decreasing your cash conversion cycle, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit. Those are only two metrics that really matter. All the other stuff doesn't matter at all, okay? Now, how you can really dial this in, you can dial this in down to a keyword level, okay? When the leads come in, you can pass through what they call UTM parameters. So you can pass in the channel, the medium, the campaign, the actual keyword and term that deal came off of. You can feed that into your CRM, pass in your CRM, and then when you convert that deal and you go sell it, you know that, hey, these keywords, maybe 100 grand last month. These other 5 keywords are producing no revenue at all. Okay, I'm gonna kill off those 5 and double down on the ones that are actually making me money.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Last week's office hours, I talked about UTMs. So watch for week 4 to get posted on Facebook, and then watch the UTM section. I'll show you exactly, explain these in more depth. Okay.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like, it actually takes no time to set up. You can set it up in like 15 minutes, but now you're marketing like the Fortune 500 companies. No one else knows how to do this shit in our business. And you start doing it, start making decisions like that based on the data, doubling down on where you're making the money. Do that imagine if you do that for 2 years.
Oh man.
Where do you think you're gonna be at?
But look, so I've thought about that, right? So
Yeah.
my background comes from the credit world. So I'm like jacked up on credit cards and stuff. So that's why we kind of jumped in the PPC thing. But I noticed like the leads are coming in, they're coming in pretty fast, and they're coming hot. The issue that I see kind of down the line, because I've been talking to Andrew, and he was like, yo, they might do 20,000 next week, but I know they got a bigger team than I do. So that's where only
Say that again.
They got a bigger team than we do. I don't have that many closers like that. So I'm kind of afraid if I crank that thing to the PPC too high, I'm not gonna be able to handle the volume. So like, how?
I wouldn't worry about that. You can always come in and just turn down your bids. Like if your leads, if your team starts getting flooded with leads, you just come in, lower your budget.
But how do you guys typically find closers when you guys try to be able to do? Because if I want to try to 10x from now until next year, how do I keep that part of the business handled? How do I handle that, finding closers that fast?
You have 4 right now, right?
Yeah, I have 4 right now.
Do you know how many Tark had when he put 2.7 million on the board in January? Do you know how many he had?
5.
You don't need it. You don't need a bigger team. You just need to train the hell out of those guys. Make sure they're gladiators on the phone.
That's crazy.
They're hungry as hell. Okay, here's how you structure your team. 4 of those guys don't need to know anything about real estate. You need 1 guy on your team that knows about real estate. He's deal desk. Everything comes to the closers first. The closers, all they got to do is figure out, do they have motivation equity? Okay, if you start doing subject to and stuff, you don't even need to worry too much about equity. Do you have motivation equity? Like, is this a potential deal? Can we monetize this as a deal? If not, boom, I'm gonna fire it over to a realtor. Go get that referral fee, or fire it off to some other referral partner to try to monetize. Hey, sorry, you're not a good fit for me, but hey, we have this partner that's gonna be perfect for you. And get that referral fee. You'll take that money to cover your marketing, okay? But if it is a good fit, okay, ma'am, so thanks for all this info. Let me do this. Let me run the numbers on my end, and I could give you a call back in about 10 minutes once I finish running the numbers. Would that be okay? Will you be available in 10 minutes? Yeah, no problem. Okay, this starts building the anticipation. Also shows that you're actually not just pulling a number out of your butt live on the phone. You're actually running your numbers. You're gonna come back with an explanation of how you actually came up with those numbers. Fire it over to Deal Desk. Deal Desk just sits there all day, coming up with a maximum allowable offer and a target dispo price. Okay, they're just experts on pricing. Okay, that guy just, Tarek's team, that guy just sits behind a desk making $250,000 plus a year, just putting buy and sell prices on hundreds of millions of dollars of deals. He puts those numbers in, fires it back to acquisitions. Acquisitions gets those numbers. Okay, max level offer on this deal is 250. All right, I'm going to come in on my first offer at 210. Work my way up a little bit, try to close it as low as I can below that max level offer. But if I cap out and can't get that sucker closed at 250, it's going back in the referral bucket. It's lost, moving on to the next one. Okay. If I get another 250, let's say I get a close under 230. Okay. Close under 230. My target dispo on this is 270. Okay. All right. Pushing it up onto the site. Let's go move this deal. Okay. And then you're moving it fast, fast, fast. Okay. So that's how you can do it with a very small team. I see a lot of teams when I come on, like they're hiring realtors and stuff. Like most realtors are freaking lazy. Okay. You need just like top closers that are hungry. They're going to get on those phones. They're going to build that rapport and then close those deals. So you don't need a ton of people. You don't need 20 people. You can do it with 5. You could do what you're doing per month with the right people with 5 guys.
And what's that deal thing you said? Is that a site that you can go use to get an give an MAO?
No, so we just call it, it's a role. We call it deal desk. So that's just a role on the team. It's just one person. They just specialize in comping stuff.
Oh yeah, I have that on my team already. The manager does that.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
There's a million ways you can structure your team. I think that's the most efficient. Because then when you're hiring new sales guys, let's say you got 4 guys on your team, you should be tracking metrics on how many leads they're getting, how many deals they're closing, what's their lead to deal conversion rate, and then total revenue that they're generating. And what you'll find is probably 2 of the guys are good and 2 of them kind of suck, typically. Okay. So then what you got to do is you got to go hire 6 more people to go fill those 2 roles. You got to let them go, bring in 6 more people. You hire those 6 people with the intention of keeping 2. Every time I want to hire 1 position, I'm going to hire 3. And then I'm going to track their metrics over 30 days, see who actually does well. Okay. Because some people, they might be the nicest person in the world. They might have a great resume, but the question is like, oh, how good are you actually?
Yeah.
And if you're not good at this, I'm going to be doing you a disservice by keeping you in a role that you're not good at. Everyone has natural talents, so they're naturally good at certain things. I'd be holding you back from doing whatever it is that you're good at by keeping you on my team. So we should have, you should have some leaderboards where, you're talking the numbers. We used to have flat screen TVs on every sales wall, where all day they're just seeing their name on the leaderboard. So you bring in 3, one of them takes off, starts climbing up the top with other guys, and the other 2 are just sitting down there like with crap numbers. Well, 60 days, 30 days, you're gonna have a conversation with them. After 60 days, that whole conversation of like, hey, this is not working out, it's a lot easier. Okay. And then you can shift them to a different role. Maybe you need someone as a transaction coordinator, and maybe one of them is really detail oriented. So you shift them to transaction coordination, or you let them go. Sometimes you get lucky and you hit 3 out of 3, but that's only happened to me once. Okay.
Wow.
I'll give you another tip on hiring for sales. Here's a trick. This comes from the guy that used to hire for Warren Buffett. You get 100 applicants. You got to filter through them. You know the fastest way to filter through applicants to find the best ones is?
Yeah.
How's that?
What you do is you call them up, you say, hey, I appreciate you applying for this job, but if you can see in the job posting, we're only looking for top players. And, I just went through your resume here, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like you're going to be it doesn't look like you're a top performer. So just want to call you up and let you know that this is not going to work out. And then you just shut up and don't say anything. Do you know what you're doing here? Strategy. You see if they give you pushback. You need to find the people that don't take no for an answer.
No for an answer. Yep. I knew.
Yes.
You might have to call through 60 people. You call through 60 people, 60 of them are just like, oh, okay, thank you. You're like, damn, that's another one. Do it again. Damn, that's another one. You spend all day calling, just shutting people down. Guess what? You don't want any of those salespeople on your lead. You just save yourself a lot of money. Then on the 61st call, someone calls up. Yeah, the guy that does Warren Buffett's revamps his sales teams. He says, you know what the best response was I ever got? Guy got hired instantly on the spot. You know what it was? The guy paused for a second. He says, Well, you must be fucking blind. Hired on the spot.
I know that's right.
Hired on the spot. So you use strategies like this to get the best salespeople. They don't have to be from real estate, and then have deal desk run the numbers, and that's how you're going to crush it and get them to pay them all well. Get those guys to 150, 200, 250,000 a year with commissions. But you can only do that by really doubling down your market, feeding them really good leads. Okay. So yeah, I think your strategy is good. Own Dispo in Atlanta, and then I would expand to some other markets with PPC, and then really focus on tracking the numbers on your sales team, and really own Google Ads here in the months ahead. Was that helpful, guys?
Very, 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 very.
Super helpful.
And also to tell Valerie, you know, as far as Reese Pennington is concerned, I never seen somebody as such a wizard, like creatively structuring deals. He's just, nothing can get past him. He's going to figure it out. You know, his mind just works scientifically like that. Yeah. You know, and she would definitely be a good choice for you, Valerie. He's done a lot of things with us as well, creatively.
You know, I really appreciate, I was listening to what you said about him, that he's a really smart guy, but he's also generous. Thank you.
He's such a go-giver, such a go-giver.
Yeah, he'll hook you up. All right, I'm 10 minutes over, but I want to make sure we go through everyone here today. Juan Padilla.
Yeah, man, I mean, great information, as always. I don't want to hold up, you know, everyone else with any more questions. I mean, really, for me, I was wanting to kind of go over that ROAS calculator that you said that you have out.
Yeah.
If you have a video, I mean, I can definitely just refer to it, because I know that the one that you made with what was his name?
Josh Cohen.
Yeah, and you guys talked about it, but I don't think you guys actually broke it down and kind of went over it.
Yeah, I don't think I broke it down live. I know there's somewhere there's a recording of me, but I could just pop it up real quick and walk you through the concepts of it. How I came up with this is actually Josh was like really struggling with his PPC campaigns. He was like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm like, dude, you just gotta you gotta be doing something wrong. Like, let's dive into it. And then the way he was thinking about PPC, I don't think it was the right way. He was, again, really focused on cost per lead and trying to minimize his cost per lead. I'm like, dude, cost per lead doesn't matter. Like, you're getting all these junk leads in these junk areas. You got to start focusing on the one thing that does matter. That's return on ad spend. So I built this calculator. I just built this for him on the call while we were doing it. And then afterwards, I was like, other people might enjoy this tool as well. So I posted on the group. I'm going to drop this on Slack as well. Or sorry, on chat here. 1 second, chat. We're going to message this to everyone. Okay. So at the end of the day, all you got to do is you want to return ad spend. For every dollar we spend, how many dollars are we getting back? Okay. If we get this flywheel going, we're going to be in good shape. Okay. But we got to figure out, okay, where can we get that return ad spend? Okay. So how do you calculate it? First thing you want to do is you want to figure out what is your expected average assignment fee. Okay. So what I found in the data is that people typically, if you look at InvestorLift on analytics and you look at the average sale price number here, average sale price, you see Phoenix here is 332. The average assignment fee is typically between 8 and 12%. The companies that are really strong on Dispo are going to be closer to that 12% because they're really good negotiators. And they'll stack multiple offers. The companies are just kind of getting in, they're going to be closer to that 8%. So what you can do is you can type in here kind of where you think you're going to be at. So I think 8% was average. And then you type in the average sale price you pull from God mode. And then you know that, like, you know, in Miami, I could expect to make around 25, 26K a deal versus Tampa, I'm only going to be making 19, 20K a deal. Okay. That gives you your expected revenue. That's one side of the equation. Then what we want to be doing is thinking about the other side of the equation. Okay, what is it going to cost us to get a deal? What's going to be our marketing cost? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll pop into the Google Keyword Explorer. Okay. I'll type in whatever keyword is that I want to go after. So let's say cash home buyer, and then I'll type in the cities. You can load in as many cities as you want. I could load in 5, 10 different cities. It's not going to work on small cities. They'll just say no data available, but you really be targeting big cities with this. So you type in as many big cities as you want across the top. I'll give you a bid low and a bid high. Now, if you had a low performing site, and you didn't have relevant ads and things like that, to get to the top spot, you're going to be paying this bid high. Okay. But we know based on what Google is showing us that, for example, when I ran this in Miami, there's people that were getting to the top of the page with $13.83 bids. Okay. So I know InvestorLift is a pretty good site. I'm planning on running good ads. I could probably be getting clicks for about that price. Okay. Now Google is what we call a second price auction. So if I bid $1,000 per lead and the guy below me that has the second spot in auction bids $1 per lead, I actually don't have to pay $1,000. I just got to pay what the guy second to me on the auction paid. So I'd actually pay $1. Okay. So just to keep, if I'm going to go through all the work of run these numbers, I'm not going to put the bid low that I see here. I'm going to go a few dollars above it. The more dollars above it that I go, the longer that this will it'll stay in place. Okay. So I'll probably, let's say throw $3, $4 on top, depending on the market, and go up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to do a target.
Hey, Robert.
16. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you, but isn't the bid based on the campaign though, and not really the actual city?
The bid could be a keyword in a city.
Okay.
So you want to set up these bidding on a keyword in a city, bidding on cash home buyer in Miami. By the way, then when I create my ad text, I'll be like, are you looking for, like title could be like Miami's #1 cash home buyer, and then my relevancy scores are going to go up, right? So I'm really zeroing on figuring out which keywords I want to dominate in which areas, and then going above and beyond on those, doing more than anyone else is. Okay. Now, as you start to run your campaigns, you'll have a sense of your landing page conversion rate. Okay. You'll just see that in the data, and you'll be able to see it at a keyword level as well. But you can plug in, whatever your landing page conversion rate is, you can plug that in. That will give you what your cost per lead is. Okay. If I'm converting 1 in 10 clicks to a deal, I'm paying 16 a click, then 160 is going to be my cost per lead. Okay. Then you should be tracking what your sales team conversion rate is. Okay. How many leads does it take for my sales team to close one deal? Is it 1 in 20, 1 in 50, 1 in 10, right? The top teams are, again, somewhere in that like 8 to 15 range, 8 to 12, really. I would try to target at least 1 in 10 leads that you're closing. That would be like a really high performing sales team. Okay. So then again, if I'm closing, let's say on here, it's 1 in 12, then it costs me 163 per lead. I close 1 in 12 leads. Then my cost per deal in Miami is $1,960. In Tampa, conversely, is $6,200. So I got my cost per deal on one side. I got my expected revenue on the other side up here. Divide this by this. Now I can see that based on these assumptions, I would expect to get $3 back for this keyword in Tampa versus in Miami, I anticipate to get $13 back. So where would you want to bid and spend your money? Would you want to spend it in Tampa or Miami? Do you want $3 back or 13?
Of course, 13. Oh, you're okay. I'm sorry. You were talking that. Yeah, so definitely Miami.
So again, this is just a framework for thinking about things. In reality, things are going to play out differently. Your numbers are going to be a little bit higher or lower, but you need to have some framework. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark. And what you might do is you might have 25 cities across here for each keyword, and you might create a copy of this for 50 different keywords and have a VA spend a week running these numbers. But then once you get that and you're just targeting everything with 10x, chances are your return on ad spend, if things play out, you could be pretty close to that 10x. You're cutting out all the junk. You're staying focused. You're looking for what we call market asymmetries, where there's a revenue opportunity that people haven't tapped into already. Okay.
Yeah,
Not a lot of guys are doing this, but like Josh, I gave this to him, and then the next week or 2 weeks later, he did a $250,000 day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just tweaking his existing campaigns, or did he create new ones based off?
I think he did all new, like targeted by city, by keyword, like very niche. He spent days and days on it. It's a lot of work. There's no easy way to do it. If you do
Right,
this for
right.
like 5 keywords, you're not going to see anything, you know, like you got to do it for like, do like a lot, do a lot of keywords, a lot of cities. It's a lot of work. It might take you a week to go do all the math, but once you do all the math, you're going to save yourself a lot of freaking money. Yeah. Okay, guys, I got to run, but before I do, any last questions?
I just want to make a quick comment to the group and to you, Robert. This has been so valuable for me, listening to other people's scenarios, what they're going through, even though I'm at the beginning stages. These are things I'll be approaching and addressing, and just starting to wrap my mind around this. And your knowledge share and others, I'm so very grateful. Thank you very, very much for your time and staying extra.
I appreciate it, Valerie. It means a lot to me. Yeah, you'll never see me ever selling courses. I make my money when people do more deals. So my only goal is to get you guys doing as many deals as possible, because that's going to go rob market share from the competitors, and that's going to pump up the value of InvestorLift. So like any knowledge I have, I'm giving it to all of you guys free anytime you want. So appreciate having you guys all on here. This has been great.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you guys for jumping on. Now just go out there and go apply this, and then let me know. If it doesn't work, I want to know. Give me that feedback loop. It's all about feedback loop. If it does work though, also let me know. Okay. We're all about finding ground truth on everything. What does work, what doesn't work, and then disseminate that through our community so everyone can just make buckets and buckets of money. So, all right, guys, I got an anniversary dinner to get to. Thank you so much for everything. We'll talk to y'all later. Same
Happy
time.
anniversary.
Jump on. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.